Major Mohammed Shah is also live with us. Major Shah, I'm sure you're apprised of this big verdict which has come. It's a big win for the Hindu side, but as far as the Muslim side is concerned, what would be your argument? What would you like to advise today to the Muslim side? Because end of the day, it is extremely important, paramount, that peace and tranquility is maintained. Historic wrongs, as I said, need to be corrected. They cannot be overlooked. But at the same time, it cannot be a reason to disturb peace in the present. Really, in view of this, what would be your appeal to the Muslim side far as this latest verdict of the Varanasi court is concerned?
Okay, Meenakshi, firstly, I would like to appeal to the entire nation through you and through your channel, to both the communities, to Muslims and to Hindus, that, Muslims of today, they should not be held responsible for what the Mughals had done then. Because those were invaders, and that's what invaders do. They destroy certain structures, and they also contribute somewhere. So they should not, they have no connection with that. They should not be held responsible for what Mughals had done then, and one should come. Secondly, whatever the verdict comes out, it's not a big win or lose for Hindus or Muslims right now. It is a case which is under contention, and as per the places of worship, okay, let me tell you my thinking. When I read the Places of Worship Act of 1991, which said whatever the status quo on 15th August 1947 of a religious place of worship was, should be maintained. So why is the court even hearing this case? They should dismiss it. That was my initial thinking. Now, when I got further into this case, I realized, okay, the point of contention is that the other side, the Hindus, are saying that, okay, maybe that their argument is that 15th August 1947, it was a temple perhaps. Well, if that was so, then it would all be proved in the court. I mean, one should have faith in the judiciary. And secondly, it should not be seen like a cricket match or India-Pakistan cricket match, that who lost, who won. Whatever the judiciary comes out with should be respected. Now the judiciary has not come up with a final decision. They have put the date on 22nd September. It would be heard again. So yes, whatever the judiciary comes out with, it should be respected, should be honored, irrespective of whichever side, whether it's favoring the Muslim side or the Hindu side or whatever. We are all brothers and sisters. We have to coexist in society together. We have to respect one another's religion, one another's faith. We have to actually give that respect. So it should not be, and it should be honored, and no questions thereafter, because it might hurt in case the court says it's a mosque and gives a ruling in the Muslim side. So it's not yet come. Right now it's too early to say big blow to who, big win for who. No. So if they come up with...
Okay, I take your point as far as, of course, GyanVapi Rao is concerned. You say that the verdict should be acceptable to both communities. End of the day, maintaining peace is of paramount importance. Major Mohammed Shah is also live with us, and of course many other panelists. Major Shah, you just heard what Mr. Swami had to say. End of the day, the Hindu side also arguing and saying that we are not after each and every mosque in this country. We are talking about three pieces of land which are very crucial, which are key to the Hindu faith. That, of course, Kashi Vishwanath, then you have the Krishna Janmabhoomi and the Ram temple, which has already been sorted by the Supreme Court. Would it not be rather large-hearted of the minority community as well to look at a middle way to try and correct the historic wrongs? Why should we always resist something in the name of secularism? Where do you stand on this argument, sir?
You said about large-hearted, yes, they are already being large-hearted. It's not about that. It's secondly, I would also like to add something on to Mr. Swami. He has said something. So I would say to keep your words soft, tender and sweet. You never know when one might have to chew them, have to swallow them back. So it's too early to say right now it is a defeat or a victory for anyone. It is, as I mentioned earlier, let us be more mature in dealing with it. Let us respect each other's religion. Let's not see it as a win or a defeat for one particular community. No. Whatever the judiciary decides should be honored, irrespective whether the judgment is favoring one community or not, whether you're happy with the judgment or not, it should be honored. Now, whether would it be large-hearted or not, well, the judiciary will decide, and my appeal is to please maintain calm, peace, composure, and take the decision in the right spirit, because that is the best choice, whichever. Judicially, many times it so happens the first round goes to somebody else. And then the second round, the judiciary comes out with something other ruling. So it's not a big blow or a big loss to anyone. It would be, and already the status quo was being maintained. I mean, if the point of contention is that before 15th August 1947, on that date, it was a temple or a mosque that a court saw credibility and they decided to give it a hearing. Well, I would like to know, I'm myself curious to know of the fact that if that was the case, if it was a temple, when did it convert into a mosque? On which date? After independence. It sounds a bit I'm not very convinced with that, but if it was a mosque, which I feel it could have been, then when was it?
But sir, as far as the Places of Worship Act 1991, which is concerned, and that's why I know you're speaking of the, 1947 status quo, whether it was a mosque or a temple, the court really doesn't seem to be thinking that when it comes to basic worship, that holds any water or any value there, isn't it? Major Mohammed Shah, would you say that now that this plea to worship, conduct daily worship in GyanVapi mosque, that's tenable, the court says that we are ready to hear. Do you think that now perhaps is the time to do an entire survey of the mosque? Because the Hindu side says, why should we shy away from doing the same? End of the day, if the mosque has not been built on the remnants of a Hindu temple as is being claimed by the other side, then why shy away from a survey? Let a survey happen and let everyone know the truth. End of the day, why should we shy away from looking into our history?
I mean, there's no problem if the survey happens and it will only clear the air. And, it's very easy to sit on a TV panel and a Hindu will say, Hamari hi jagah hai wo. A Muslim can say, Hamari hi jagah hai, and there's going to be tu main, there's going to be a fight, right? So the best thing is, let the court decide, and whatever the court give the ruling, and whatever the court give the ruling, even if a person is saying with a lot of confidence, irrespective of the community, Muslim community or Hindu community, and he's saying, it is my place and my land, Hamari hi jagah hai, let the court decide, and then let's see a person thereafter says that, Hamari jagah thi, then there's no point cribbing. Because the court has given a ruling and that should be honored. Now, when we come to it, the survey, Meenakshi, when the survey was done, the result, the footing of the survey, the footage should have been given to the court, nowhere else. But the footage was leaked, it was given to the media initially, and the person was apparently, if my knowledge is right, he was dismissed. These things should not be given out, should not be leaked out. These are very, very sensitive matter. You see what happened in the Nupur Sharma controversy, the entire international controversy with the Gulf countries. It was a similar debate on the similar topic. It was a debate on the GyanVapi only about Shivling, and from there it fled up and it became the Nupur Sharma controversy became so big. And the anchor on television, on whichever channel, just couldn't handle it. The anchor did not know what hit itself. So now I compliment you, Meenakshi, for having a very civil, a very mature, a very balanced, a very mature, very intelligent discussion where we can actually discuss and pass it with our points of view across. That's why I said to people who want to give out hate, I would say, please keep your words soft, tender and sweet, because you never know when you might have to swallow them. You will never find me talking anytime, not just on this panel, anytime about hate or about propagating an idea. I always give a very rational, a very balanced view, saying that, okay, we will go by what the judiciary says, and irrespective, whether even me, for that matter, if whether I am convinced in my heart of hearts, whether ruling, if I lose the case or any other case, I would still go by what the judiciary says, because at the end of the day, like
I agree with you, Major Shah. We need to be careful and we need to be very sensitive in dealing with such issues. Major Shah, what would you say about this? Because earlier you were suggesting that it could open a Pandora's box. Of course, many panelists and of course the Hindu side also says that it set a precedent, a template for other cases as well. We have similar contentious issues. For example, the Krishna Janmabhoomi issues. This verdict, would you say that is going to have a fallout on other cases as well? And also, if there is a doubt that there is perhaps a Hindu deity, you can see, of course, in this complex as well, the Shivling, alleged Shivling rather, the figurines, Hindu motifs and deities. Why should the Hindus be denied something as basic as the right to worship?
See, nothing should be denied to anyone, irrespective of the community, whether a person is a Muslim or a Hindu, or it should not, no right to pray, no right, which is a right, whether it's a Hindu's right or it's a Muslim right. Simple. Now, the fear of the minority community, which is the Muslim community, is right. And I think they're justified in their fear, saying that, okay, if right now, if this thing is allowed to happen tomorrow, then there is no end to it. One after the other, one after the other, one after the other. And all the mosques, every mosque, there would be a shivling found under every mosque. That would be the greatest fear. And that could happen if...
the Hindu side is not saying that we are after every mosque. We are saying, the Hindu side is saying that there are 3 places which are core to our belief. Why can the other side, the Muslim side, not be a little accommodative, at least when it comes to 3 places, Kashi Vishwanath, Ram Janmabhoomi already settled, and of course the Krishna Janmabhoomi is concerned.
Exactly. So, Meenakshi, I respect what you are saying, that, taking a middle path, so to ensure. So, yes, there should be an agreement then where you take a middle path, and thereafter you say, okay, like the way in 1991 after the Babri Masjid demolition and after the Bombay riots, unfortunately, when this mayhem had happened. So there should be an agreement. Okay, here is the divide, clear cut, no more thereafter, irrespective. Already a similar case was set up where there was the Place of Religious Act of 1991, where 1947, the status quo was to be maintained. Well, if we are making an exception, fine. But then there should be a clear-cut divide thereafter. Now, no more hereafter, irrespective what the Mughals did, irrespective of who did what, irrespective whether it was a temple or a mosque or a church or a gurdwara.
That argument should take point taken, and I think it's a very valid argument. But Major Shah, where do you stand on the survey argument? Why should why should there not be a survey? That's a big question which many are asking. End of the day, if it is a historical fact, it should be known to the world. And if indeed, as there is more than enough proof to show that there was indeed a Hindu temple atop which a mosque has been constructed, should the other side also, and I mean the minority side, the Muslim side, also relent and accommodate the Hindu sentiments as well? End of the day, the place where the wuzu is being or was being conducted, there allegedly resides a shivling which is very, very core to the Hindu belief. Should there not be really a consideration of the same as well by both sides?
Meenakshi, there's no harm, there's no problem in getting a survey done, and it will only clear the air, as I said earlier. It will only give straight out the facts what it was. But the very fact I am saying that, okay, if I say it was a temple earlier, but the status quo before on 15th August 1947, what was it? If I say it was a mosque, then I'm giving both the sides of both the coins, right? I am not speaking on one-sided. I'm giving a very, very balanced, a very, very neutral, a very pragmatic, a very rational view. Now, whatever it was on 15th August 1947, ideally, as per the Places of Religious Worship Act of 1991, it should be maintained. I'm sure even the judiciary will agree with that, and I'm sure judiciary will also keep that in mind while giving out a verdict. And that is the only reason why today I am saying whatever the judiciary decides, I'm sure it's going to be a very rational, a very pragmatic, a very feasible thing to do. And that is why I say to keep your words very soft and tender, because today when people are speaking with conviction that, oh, the Muslims have lost the first verdict and so, never know. You don't know what is going to be in store tomorrow. And all the confidence, all the conviction, all that can actually turn into dust tomorrow. Can. I'm not saying it will, and it can. So now a survey...
that is going to depend on whatever the courts decide, but the fact that you have a Nandi, the fact that you can see Hindu figurines, the fact there are Hindu motifs which are visible and palpable on the walls of the mosques, those are also very, very crucial pieces of evidence which have emerged, and that's something which cannot be denied. Yes, the right to possession, whether there was a temple before 1947, after 1947, what was really the character or the nature of the GyanVapi complex, that's something which is still contentious. That's only something which the courts can decide on. As far as the validity of the 1991 Act is concerned, it's already underway in the Supreme Court. All eyes are on the Apex Court as to what decision it takes. But when we speak of the Varanasi Code, what happened today undoubtedly was historic. It's one of the most significant decisions which has been taken by the court's right to worship. That plea at least is going to be heard in the court. The court has found no merit in the Muslim side's argument. What happens next in the case? Of course, we will wait and watch and keep bringing our viewers each and every update from the courts on the same. As of now, I'd like to thank all our guests and experts who joined us on the broadcast with their views on this extremely contentious issue.